Defendant is present, represented by his attorney, Mrs. Smith, State Representative Mr. Swanson. This is scheduled as a change of plea. I did see that a guilty plea advisory form was filed, as well as a binding plea agreement. Ms. Greensmith, is your client prepared to proceed with the entry of the guilty plea?
Yes, Your Honor. Would Your Honor prefer if I make a record as to what the claim will be?
Please do.
Right. So today my client will be pleading guilty to counts 3, 4, 5, and 7 of the information, and then pursuant to our binding Rule 11 agreement, the court would be capped at imposing a unified sentence of 20 years, so a 5 plus 15, but the court is free to do anything less than that. We do already have a completed PSE for means of negotiations, and so we don't need to set out sentencing that far. However, we do need a PSI.
Right, thank you. Mr. Swenson, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Vasevich, is that also your understanding of the agreement you've made with the state?
Yes, sir.
So this being a binding plea agreement under Rule 11, there are some special considerations with that agreement. I'm sure you've discussed those with your attorney.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're aware that if the court accepts that agreement and enters a sentence that is consistent with that agreement, that you waive your right to appeal both the sentence and the conviction.
I do, Your Honor.
And you also understand that if the court chooses to not follow those recommendations, that you would have the ability to withdraw your guilty plea and proceed towards trial.
Yes, Your Honor, I have been advised of that.
I want to also advise you that you have the right against self-incrimination, which means you are not required to make statements to the court that could incriminate you. Statements you make can be used against you in later proceedings. But if you're going to plead guilty, you're waiving that right to remain silent as to these charges. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you please stand and raise your right hand? I'm going to have you placed under oath.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to present in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, so help me God.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. So I looked at the guilty plea advisory form. It looks like you completed that this week, and you signed that on the front page and the back page. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the first 2 pages, there are paragraphs that describe your constitutional rights. Did you read through those paragraphs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any question about your rights?
No.
You've put your initials after each of those paragraphs. That tells me you understand that you're waiving those rights when you plead guilty. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And was your attorney available to assist you as you went through and answered the rest of the questions on that document?
Yes, thoroughly, Your Honor.
And were your responses to those questions truthful?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in the last 48 hours, have you taken any medication or any other substance that would impair your ability to understand or participate in this proceeding?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any physical or mental condition that will impair your ability to understand or participate today?
I understand perfectly.
And has anyone made any promises or threats, anything to cause you to plead guilty to these charges against your will?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand if you're not a citizen of the United States, there could be consequences to your immigration status?
I understand that. I'm a citizen.
Thank you. And have you had enough time to discuss this plea with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your attorney's representation in this case?
Most certainly.
And Ms. Greensmith, are you satisfied that Mr. Masevich understands the offense, the consequences, and the waiver of his rights and offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you also satisfied that there is a factual basis for his pleas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. So Mr. Masevich, I'm going to start then with the entry of the pleas as to count 3, knowingly distributing child sexually exploitive material. How do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
And count 4, another charge of the same thing, the distribution of child sexually exploited material. How do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Count 5, another of the same thing, distribution of child sexually exploited material. How do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
What did you do that makes you guilty of those 3 charges?
Your Honor, Night that I was arrested, I told my children that I would own my crime. Sir, with respect to your office and me wanting to keep my vow, may I stand and confess those crimes?
Yes. Would you mind holding on a moment? I just got notice that there are people on Zoom for this case to observe, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to observe the rest of it. So before you do that, I'll give you a moment to gather your thoughts and what you want to say. And is there a different factual basis for that charge?
No, sir.
Now, as for the, I guess there was a little bit more to the distribution. So you had possession of at least a fourth photograph, is that correct?
Yes, sir, to my understanding.
And 3 of those photographs, or at least 3 of those pictures that you had possession of that you've described, were they distributed to other people or persons in any way?
Yes, sir, on a kick chat.
All right, so that's an online platform for sharing pictures?
It's an online platform for sharing pictures and conversation. It's a social media.
All right. Okay, thank you. So with that, I am going to, again, conclude that there is a factual basis for your plea to all of these charges. Also, when you find that you do understand the consequences and that you are doing this freely and voluntarily. Mr. Masovich, I also want to, before we finalize this, make sure that you understand what some other potential consequences could be. If you violate the conditions of this plea agreement between now and the sentencing, do you understand that you would lose the benefits of the plea agreement, but your guilty plea will still remain intact?
I understand that, Your Honor.
And do you understand that in that circumstance, losing the benefits of the plea agreement, the court could sentence you up to the maximum on these charges and run those charges consecutive to each other? Do you understand that?
I understand that.
Finally, the maximum on the distribution charge is up to 30 years in prison, a fine of up to $50,000. There's also a potential $5,000 civil penalty. And on the possession charge, that was up to 10 years in prison, and a fine of up to $10,000. So do you understand, and also the civil penalty? So do you understand that a violation of the plea agreement could result in me imposing those maximum sentences?
I do, and I thank the state for its plea.
Right. And do you understand what a consecutive sentence is?
I do, sir.
All right. So based on that, again, I am going to conclude the defendant does understand the potential consequences, so I'm going to accept the plea and enter that on the record, and we can schedule this for sentencing. You can be seated. Thank you, sir. We already had the pre-sentence, the psychosexual evaluation, and so order a pre-sentence investigation. That process typically takes about 7 weeks. We will schedule sentencing in 8 weeks. What date does that give us? For approximately 8 weeks. So that would put us on April 2nd at 8:30 a.m. here in this courtroom. Does that date and time work for the state and for the defense?
Yes, sir.
I work for the defense, thank you.
All right, is there anything else we need to address on this today?
Not from the state.
At this time, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you. Before we take up the next case,